Good evening, everyone. I feel bad interrupting your wonderful conversations, but it's really a great pleasure for me to address you this evening, and thank you so much, all of you, for coming. Sarah, actually I should say I didn't negotiate the transition. I was a tiny little fly in those corridors in Kempton Park, but it was a wonderful experience. And seeing Albie Sachs here this evening and all of the speakers who are here in front of me, I really feel very moved. And I think as we go towards the 20th anniversary of our Constitution, it indeed makes a lot of sense that we are gathered here today, remembering, reimagining, redreaming a South Africa that belongs to all who live in it. The late Nelson Mandela repeatedly acknowledged the critical role civil society played in securing South Africa's democracy. During and after his term as our country's first black democratically elected president, he continued to stress the vital and ongoing need for a strong and independent sector, filled with the spaces between the state, market, and family to protect the rights of all our citizens and hold government to account. This hub, the Inyathelo Civil Society Hub, as you've heard, was built with the generous support of the Atlantic Philanthropies to provide a home for the rich network of non-profit community-based organizations that form the bedrock of social cohesion and citizen action in South Africa. It is the first and only space of its kind in Africa and offers a comprehensive range of largely free resources, training, support, mentorship, and advice services to ensure the long-term sustainability and independence of our sector, and in turn, the vibrancy and durability of our hard-won democracy. Already since we opened our doors in January this year, we've had nearly 1,000 visitors representing nearly 500 different non-profit organizations, higher education institutions, foundations, government agencies and departments, corporates, trusts, and philanthropic endeavors. Over the past decade, Inyathelo has played a key role in building advancement capacity of thousands of non-profits, as well as growing a strong local philanthropic movement to ensure the financial sustainability of the sector. With the continued support of you, our friends, family, partners, and colleagues, we'll be able to assist many more nonprofits and higher education institutions, as well as nurture new ideas and fledgling organizations that are being formed in response to the changing needs and threats to social justice in South Africa. Our special thanks go to the Atlantic Philanthropies, for their vision and willingness to build Inyathelo and South African civil society this beautiful home in which we can share, recharge, innovate, learn, support, and strengthen. Matthew Bishop, the New York Bureau Chief of The Economist, recently acknowledged how Mr. Charles Finney and his colleagues at the Atlantic have become adept at achieving leverage by identifying when a physical infrastructure can help lift an institution, like you saw with the University of the Western Cape, or organization to a higher level of impact, and how to use it to recruit other funders and even drive systematic change. As Bishop put it, and I quote, "Investing in buildings is really about betting big on the people who will lead and make use of them," unquote. Again, I want to thank the Atlantic Philanthropies for betting big on Inyathelo and believing in our capacity to deliver systemic change. You've heard that we have this wonderful exhibition here this evening. There are 14 photographs representing some of the other capital projects the Atlantic have supported in South Africa. The photographs are from the publication Laying Foundations for Change, Capital Investments of the Atlantic Philanthropies, which you'll receive a gift of when you leave this evening. The Atlantic Philanthropies have also donated a number of Jürgen Skadebeck prints, As most of you know, Skadebeck was the chief photographer at Drum magazine for many years and documented pivotal moments and key figures in the struggle against apartheid. He was an early practitioner of social documentary photography in South Africa, along with our friend Omar Bacha, whose work is also represented on our walls. If you have not yet visited Omar Bacha's amazing exhibition, Sit Time, and Omar Bacha retrospective at the Izigo South African National Gallery, I would urge you to do so soon before it comes down on the 2nd of August. We're grateful also to the generous contribution by Philip Morris International and Anglo-American's Chairman's Fund. Much of the craftwork you'll find in the center comes from the Kaiskama Art Project, which uses art and craft as a way of generating much-needed income for the communities in and around Hamburg in the Eastern Cape. And the beautiful panels at the back of this auditorium also tell a social story. The designs, called Lifelines by Jane Solomon, are artistic representations of HIV on a molecular level. And just on that note, I noticed, Professor O'Connell, that you showed the molecule of HIV and next to it, beetroots. But you didn't comment much about it. I thought that was quite interesting. I believe that artists and creative people are very much part of an active civil society. They tell stories of people who often don't have a voice and provide a mirror as well as critical voice in society. I hope you all enjoy discovering the many South African stories told on the walls of our center this evening. And just as an aside, if you go into the corner over there, you'll see a much younger and slimmer Nozizwe in our organization, the Natal Organization of Women, and thanks to Omar for capturing that moment. The Inyathelo Civil Society Hub is a great space for us to work together to rebuild, re-envision, and reimagine a strong civil society sector, ensuring a vibrant democracy through active citizenship. We often think of leadership only in terms of those holding political power, the government and political parties. While indeed these sectors hold immense power, they constitute only a small fraction of those who ensure our society works. Like you saw, the universities continue to work, the courts continue to work, business continues to work, so our society continues to get stronger. I want to quote Eusebius Makeza, who recently was at a dialogue organized by Inyathelo, at which Chikululu helped to facilitate. He said, and I quote, he said, South Africa has experienced neither a chronic nor systemic lack of leadership. Many areas of civil society, business, religion, education, and some government sectors operate under guidance of experienced and successful leaders who accomplish both the necessary and the exceptional with vision and resolve. We come from a past with a rich legacy of mobilization. And just a while ago, I was showing Disetso Mulobi, who is here among us this evening. Disetso, would you like to rise? A picture of her father, Eric Mulobi, who founded the Kagiso Trust, which is celebrating 30 years of existence this year, and received an award at the African Grant Makers Network. So we really appreciate that history and what we've learned from it. You know, we would not have had change in our country's HIV policy had there not been this strong partnership between civil society and government, because there was partnership, as you know, initially, which resulted in the price of drugs dropping so that it was much more affordable. But later, civil society had to put a lot of pressure on the government to change the policy. And as Deputy Minister of Health then, I participated in the civil society dialogues and benefited from the support to my office from the Atlantic Philanthropies. The Nelson Mandela Foundation hosted dialogues bringing together different sectors of our society, including the media. So we all worked together. We recognized there was a crisis in our country, and we united, and today we can speak about people's lives being prolonged, which for me actually, when I read about Chuck Finney and his philosophy of giving while you are living, made me really think that we can make such a big difference in people's lives, like among many others he was able to do in our country, where HIV is now just a normal chronic illness, as we were saying even in those days. So as I move towards the end, I just want to remind you of our Constitution. I did say next year our Constitution is going to be 20 years old, so I think it becomes even more important for us to rally together in protection of our Constitution. Yesterday I was talking about this Constitution with Chris, and he was saying to me, isn't your Constitution a bit over-ambitious? Doesn't it raise expectations that the country can't meet? And I said to him, we're so grateful for that Constitution because it gives us something to work towards. And I just want to remind you of what that Constitution says. Our Constitution lays the foundation for us to do the following. And I'll read it slowly so that we all take it home and remember to do something about this. It lays the foundations for us to heal the divisions of the past and establish a society based on democratic values, social justice, and fundamental human rights. To build a democratic and open society in which government is based on the will of the people and every citizen is equally protected by law. To improve the quality of life of all citizens and free the potential of each person. And to build a united and democratic South Africa, able to take its rightful place as a sovereign state in the family of nations. Sheila has said that she thinks that we should have the Constitution taught at our schools because indeed it gives us something to work towards. We can work together to create an environment that encourages all sectors of our society, including universities, business, and government, to work together. The different sectors in society have a role in creating that long-term vision. So it is possible. You know, in the 80s, I would say the slogan, freedom in our lifetime, because Tambo said it. But I wasn't sure I believed it, that I would see change in my country in my lifetime. So if we indeed hold up the vision of the kind of South Africa that our Constitution envisages, then indeed we can realize this. As I close, I want to thank Sheila for her visionary leadership. I know this is an emotional moment for all of us because you saw the staff at Inyathelo. We pulled together. It's such an amazing space. And it's what it is because of what Sheila has made it into. Thank you so much, Sheila. In thanking you, I want to again remember Eric Mulobi, who I said was the founder of the Kagiso Trust. He said, we have a purpose, and that is that Kagiso has to outgrow us as individuals. Years from now, when we are qualified ancestors, it must still be here. It must still be serving people. This is what this center is going to do. Sheila, after you leave, after I leave, and we both are ancestors, this place must be here serving our people. Thank you so much.